So Kyle Rittenhouse is free to go. I guess every liberal in the nation is going to lose their mind now. Probably BLM and Antifa as well. But if you listen to the news, reporters are acting literally sad that Kyle has been found not guilty. Nancy Chen, she looks more devastated by the verdict than anyone else. If running away from a group of people who scream, "Get him," and only shooting the people who are within arm's length isn't self-defense, then I don't know what is. We should all be very happy with the verdict. People just need to hope that we all realize that he's innocent because of the scenario above, as opposed to vigilantism. He didn't actually go out to shoot anyone. Being as it may, Kyle is going to still have trouble. These people are maniacs. They would hunt him to the ends of the earth. So we think Kyle will probably be well off changing his name at this point, because these groups will go after him, go after his family. Not only that, we suggest CNN, just like they did before when they attacked a minor child openly on TV once again. Because remember, this already happened once with the Indian standoff, if we all remember that. They got sued and he took them for quite a ride. And now we think Kyle should do the same thing. We think it's really funny because liberals, Antifa, the left wing, BLM, they probably wouldn't like it if somebody said, "Look at how she's dressed. She's just asking for it." Because referring to an open carry as provoking violence is just like saying that. When everyone goes out saying that Kyle was crying and it was all fake, just imagine what it's like to stand there not knowing if you're going to spend the rest of your life in prison or go home. We kind of also get a little cheese that all of these people cannot understand the difference between semi-automatic and fully automatic. But people who don't know about guns just hear automatic and think that it's full auto. We just have to inform everyone out there, Kyle didn't show up with a musket. It's not like he's going to show up there with something that's not going to help him out if there is a situation. No one would do that. The bitterness in the faces of the media is absolutely priceless. Look how angry or perturbed or sad they are. And we can only imagine Don Lemon coming out. People are getting away with stuff that I got away with stuff too, but it's okay. Because the ball handler himself is going to go out there and teach everybody how bad guns are. The only thing Kyle should be found guilty of is murdering the prosecutor's career. We like how the DA and all of the prosecutors were sitting around trying to paint the attackers as like supermen, when one of them was literally found guilty of molestation. You want to defend people like that, media. Because if you do, we know what kind of sick turd you really are. It only takes one functional brain cell to tell that this was clear-cut self-defense. This should never have went to trial, and it seems almost as if the judge himself agrees with that. Because the prosecutors are probably going to go to court themselves to defend themselves. The judge did not like them tampering with evidence. We think it's enough that the prosecutor's witness, literally the person who the prosecutor brought up as their main witness in all of this, literally testified that Kyle did not fire until he pulled a gun on him. That should be enough. That should be it. That should have been case adjourned, out the door. There should not have been 3 days of deliberation by the jury. Honestly, their deliberation was probably more along the lines of, how do we get out of this courthouse safely? Are we going to be okay when we get home? Are we up to having any kind of protections for ourselves? That's probably what was more on their minds than whether Kyle actually did anything or not. We say, Kyle, bless your heart for wanting to protect businesses. He shouldn't have been the only one sitting out there alone doing any of this. Had more militiamen showed up, this situation wouldn't have happened and Kyle wouldn't have been, quote unquote, overpowered. Make no mistake, the right to your self-defense was on trial. This political party of the Democrats are out for your guns. Make no mistake. They don't know anything about them and they're scared of them, so then they have to get rid of them. People usually fear things and want to get rid of it, want to attack it, and that seems to be the Democrats, at least the last few years, anything that they fear, they go full bore at it and try to attack it. Wise men, wise women know that if you go after something too hard, you might actually start the thing you were running from in the first place. We can honestly say if the Democratic mayors and governors hadn't told police to stand down, then this situation in itself probably would not have happened. So again, we can go back to Democrat mayors, Democrat lawyers, all these groups associated with the Democrat Party just screwing everything up for normal, law-abiding citizens. And we just proved it in court, watching Rittenhouse getting his just desserts, getting what he deserved, freedom. The very fact that this case even went to trial should scare every single American. All of you, whether you have guns or not. We are actually to the point where the left, the Democrats, we think that they're anti-due process. I'm not seeing any evidence to the contrary. The law doesn't look at, quote, family members that died as a way to see if someone acted in self-defense. It can be sad, but it doesn't make Rittenhouse guilty because you loved someone who died. The very fact that there are people walking around confidently thinking that Kyle killed two black people should say everything you need to know about the media's role in all of this. In this court case, there's literally no black people involved. The attackers were white, Rittenhouse is white, the judge is white, the prosecutor is white, the defense is white. The bailiff is probably the only guy that's black, and I don't even know what color that gentleman is. America saw justice in spite of the corrupt media. We think Kyle and his lawyers need to start suing the media and Sleepy Joe because it's something that needs to be done. If you don't, you allow more of this. Rittenhouse, if you're out there listening, if you don't sue these guys and win, it's a loss for all of us once again. Because they know they can get away with it. They know that if they put all of us under a microscope eventually, they're going to be able to take all of our guns. We want to know, how in the world is he being a quote-unquote vigilante when we have the constitutional right to form a militia and a right to literal self-defense? Even if the victim took a stand and stated for all to hear, he didn't shoot me until I had the gun in his face. This kind of stuff needs to be sued for libel. Constantly on the media we see how they won't show the full video because it really would debunk their whole entire narrative. And for what it's worth, every person who didn't attack Kyle Rittenhouse is still alive. It's not like he was an active shooter. It's not like he went out gung-ho and shot everybody around him. Every person that tried to attack him got a bullet. And I think that's fairly fair. I think that's something that we should all look at, that he was very objective when he pulled the trigger. Let all the bullies of this America out there know, when you think you have an easy target, you may actually pay the ultimate price. The media went on a rant for several days about how Kyle was an outsider to Kenosha. How is he an outsider when his father lives there, business friends live there? He literally went and visited him on occasion on every other weekend. He literally considered this a second home area, and we'd like to ask something else, media. What about all the people at the border that you're talking about should be allowed to come to America because they weren't raised here, they didn't have a home here, they didn't do anything to be here? Do they deserve to be here? Because Kyle didn't deserve to be in Kenosha, apparently. I love the two-facedness of how the Democrat Party operates. These are Democrat lawyers, Democrat DAs, Democrat mayors that set this whole entire thing up. And that judge, he should be completely cheesed. You put up a fake story hoping that he would bite. And now that they're caught, they're mad at him and everybody's going to be mad at him. That was a jury and it was unanimous. So I guess all those jury members, all of them are racist. All of them are horrible people. All of them. Well, Kyle Rittenhouse has picked his own jurors. Let me let you in on a secret. Democrats, Republicans, all of you. You can only lottery your people in a jury. That's it. It's like a draw of a hat. You can pick out certain type of people. There's certain allowances with that, but that is with every single court case out there. But directly, does he get a chance to pick out his own jury? No. No, nobody gets their own chance to pick out every jury member. That's not how this works. It never has. But there's BLM and Antifa claiming that same very thing. The media's literally coming out trying to say the same thing. No one gets to pick their whole entire jury. It does not work that way. But we do think it's kind of funny. Since the verdict is in, it seems like media is backing off just a little bit because they're being really careful how they're wording their words now. Because they're likely facing a defamation lawsuit. We know we would. And we know it's all biased because these reporters literally haven't been this sad since Hillary lost the election. It's that bad for them. That's how sad they're acting over it all. Which is asinine because they had no dog in the fight. They just wanted to promote this type of ideology that you couldn't defend yourself out in the open street with a gun. That if people were chasing you down the road, you're just supposed to accept it and be buried. I'm going to leave you all with one thing that I think is really important to remember. It's a quote. It is better to be judged by 12 than be buried in the ground by 6. You guys have a wonderful afternoon, a good night, a good evening, whichever. Please like, share, and subscribe. We really do appreciate that around here. Also, hit the notification bell. If you don't hit the notification bell, YouTube is probably going to give you a little beef watching our videos. God bless each and every one of you. See ya.